Welcome back to episode 4 of our Fortnite show. It is another big week in the world of Fortnite. I know it sounds like I'm just saying that, but seriously, it is true. There's a lot to talk about this week. There are new modes coming, like Playground. There are more specialty backpacks, we think, like the Jetpack coming, and Epic has announced it's putting up $100 million for grabs in a competitive season in addition to its big E3 charity tournament. We're going to get into that, and of course, I'm here with the staff, Stephen Rue.
Hey.
And Sean Pitts. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Glad to be here.
Sean Pitts is from our console team and our social team as well. So he's representing for PS4, is that right?
PS4 and Xbox. I play on both.
There we go. So we're going to get right into it, guys. The big thing was actually a data mine leak. We know this stuff isn't always fact, but we do want to talk about it. But something did leak out into the wild. When 4.2 launched, this Eye of the Storm Tracker backpack showed up, and it was patched out like super fast. Steven, you saw some of this. Why don't you walk us through like what this thing did, what it was about? And it was not, again, intended to be in the game.
Yeah, so shortly before the Jetpacks released, the Eye of the Storm Tracker backpack released. And you could tell it wasn't supposed to be there because the thumbnail icon was super unfinished. It just looked like an orange backpack. And basically, when you wear it, or with any other backpack like the Jetpack, it takes up an inventory slot. And when you wear it, you can see where the next safe zone will be.
Yeah. So like, you don't have to worry where the next storm's going.
Yeah.
You can just plan for it.
And we already know backpacks are coming, so it's pretty credible. And I believe the data mine backpacks, I don't know if we're going to get into that yet, but they show other crazy abilities, like the ability to see loot and enemies nearby.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a second. Basically, yeah, what there was in this folder sector, you know, people data mine, get in there. There was other stuff. I'm going to read through what that list is. There's the Boost Jump Pack, the Carmine Pack, the Glider Pack, Intel Pack, Medic Pack, Missile Battery, something called the Test Pack. Again, some of this could just be complete placeholder, could be Save the World items, we're not sure. So I do want to talk about two of these items. The Medic and Intel Pack had a little more credibility. There's a little more info. We'll read on them. But first, let's go to you, Sean, for a second. What do you think of the idea of knowing where the next storm is, even as a limited time item, because that's what the Jetpack was?
I think it's really cool, and I think it can help a lot in endgame. Because like especially when that storm is going to really hurt at the end of the game, it's nice to be able to know where to rotate beforehand. Yep. And then, you know that if you build something, it's not going to get unfavored by the zone. Because like sometimes that happens and you have to kind of push and make a play when maybe you don't have the materials. Or, well, if you're in the end of the game, you should have the materials. Right. But you never know.
I mean, I think that's why the Jetpack took so long. Because like on one side, you're thinking about the comments you just made. I'm like, that might be like you could just build a huge fort where sometimes people have to hold on to materials. Like that might be really hard to go up against. But again, if it's limited time mode, you know, I have a feeling they're going to test it and get it out there. I don't know why that one dropped and none of these other ones, but maybe it was close to being deployed and they pulled it back.
Someone pushed the wrong button.
Yeah.
Somebody pushed the wrong button. So let's talk about the ones that had a little more info, starting with Intel. The quote line, the log line for it was, find the Eye of the Storm and reveal nearby loot and enemies. And the concept was sort of like an antenna and a phone attached to it. So it sounds almost like Eye of the Storm plus finding nearby loot. I'm not sure what that means. And enemies.
Probably like chests.
Yeah, maybe.
Like see it through walls, though, you think? Or like on the map?
Yeah, maybe on the mini-map or something like that. And maybe enemies make like a distinct noise like chests do when they're nearby.
Oh, that would be interesting, like an increased like audio sound that goes with them.
When I read that, I was just like, man, that sounds crazy in squads.
Yeah, that seems very powerful.
To know like where everybody's at.
Because like if you have one person on your team wearing a backpack, they could just call everything out.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too. Like the combination of these different abilities in squads is like super powerful because like you have one guy who knows where the storm's going. You have a guy that can fly up and get inside somebody else's fort, or they're one by one. So it's definitely... I think the squads play with these different backpacks is going to be super interesting.
Yeah. And we'll talk a little, I think there's some ways for them to potentially balance this stuff out. Well, just getting to it. The charge time, that is the way they were kind of balancing out the Jetpack. You can't just like fly around, and it's not even just about your fuel. There's like a limited amount of time that you can get up, float in the air, and then it's going to run out. In fact, you got to be careful. You can kill yourself if you go up too high and you don't plan that descent. And so there's a recharge time. There could be a recharge time on this. Maybe it's a super fast blip, right? Maybe you see it and you only had a few seconds to digest it. So I think that's the type of stuff they're probably playing with in development to get there. And then the Medic Pack, here's what they say about that. Carry your allies to victory with this advanced life-saving equipment. to me, that sounds pretty straightforward, and it's got like a plus symbol on this like really low-res 3D asset that they found in the data mine. I mean, it does sound as simple as like you're going to be able to come over with a little juice and juice someone up as like a medic, potentially.
Yeah, like you said, it could just be like a pulse wave, and you can automatically revive allies in that pulse wave.
A revive? That's like...
So you don't have to walk over
Was it
to
Mercy showing up?
Yeah.
Here? Is that
Yeah,
what's
it's kind of
going
like
on?
Mercy.
That would be... I think you're taking it too far, man.
Like an insta
You think so?
What do you think it would be, Sean? If you had a medic pack in Fortnite...
I mean, I would hypothetically think you could bring somebody back after they've been killed.
It says
like
life
not knocked
saving.
out. I mean dead.
Ooh,
Like
that might be a little too crazy.
Like if you
You're
win-
saying no, back
like
from
if
the
you,
dead? No
if
way.
you win like a squads fight, but one of your guys goes down. I've always wanted like something like that because it's like it really stinks to like
It does.
You all 4 of your guys are alive and your friend rounds a corner and gets pumped and put out and then killed and the guy knows that his game is over. So he's like part of the no fun squad and then just puts your guy out.
But it is battle royale, man, and like to bring someone back to life.
It's
I'm not
huge.
disputing that it could be
It
fun.
could
I
be,
mean,
yeah.
What
it
I
could
like
take forever too. It could take like
Yeah.
20 seconds to completely.
It's true.
bring
Like it's
somebody
like a
back.
chug jug.
Yeah, you know, or if it's like, and then you're just standing out there for well, you build around it obviously, but
Yeah.
for 20 seconds,
Oh,
it
no.
could be balanced.
Reviving someone in the first place takes a while.
Yeah.
So imagine that using that was a feature. Like, and there you go. They can balance this stuff out. So I'm interested in the medic thing more than I am the intel pack. Like I don't fully understand like finding loot and people. That sounds like a very strong feature. But who knows? You know, don't knock it till you try it is what I'd say.
Yeah.
And where I wanted to draw this back to was it's a question for me though. So the question is, do you think they're doing a good job of balancing these limited time items and modes, specifically items right now, or do you think they're taking stuff too far? Actually, let's just start with that. So do you think they're doing a good job?
Well-
Like they threw Jetpack in. I've heard some people be like, get it out, get rid of it.
Honestly, I don't think the jetpack is unbalanced. It's a unique ability. It gives you a Z-axis in the game that isn't in the game unless you build. But honestly, because it's so hard to find and with the battery and the fuel,
Yeah.
I don't really find myself thinking, oh, this is insane.
I think it's hard to navigate as well. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
We were able to find it. I only got it a couple of times. And it's a little hard to navigate. It's not like you can just like go, like you're saying. You can kind of go forward. It's much slower. You're right. It's mostly like,
Yeah, I think it provides another element to the gameplay, and I don't think it's broken at all.
yeah. So it didn't bother you. You've seen some videos of the Jetpack.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I've watched a ton of videos. I'm heavy into the streaming community too. It's like I watch streams pretty often, and like I think it introduces like a great element of outplay. Like if you're getting built on top of you, like someone's building on top of you, and you don't have the materials to build back up, you could just fly around their building. And
Yes.
I think that's cool. That maybe not everything has to be building. You know, like maybe if you have a jetpack, you could get away with a little bit less materials because if somebody builds on top of you, you could fly up
Right.
above them and kill them.
Yeah, get on
and
there.
I really like it. I think it's a cool. I really hope I get it.
Yeah.
I have really bad RNG, so I haven't
it's
got
rare,
it.
and you
yet.
can only find it in chests.
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's legendary. So
And it runs out.
it's
Like
very
if you
hard.
get a jetpack early in the game, you're probably not going to have it by the time of the end of the game rolls around.
Oh yeah, not if you're using.
Not if you're using
exactly.
it. So and I think that, and I also like the outplay potential or like just the comedy potential of like impulse and jetpack and like all this weird stuff that you could do with these items.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, I didn't have any major problems with it. I think in a limited time sense, granted they did add it to all the modes. In a limited time sense, I don't think it's that big a deal.
Well, the jetpack's not limited time.
I thought it was.
I don't believe so.
I think they're talking about it like a limited time item. In fact, they said, I don't have it. They did talk about it as one. I don't know if they're stripping it out right away.
Okay.
But I'm like positive that it's considered a limited time item. In fact, it's in the it's in our patch notes. Well, just trust me on that.
The jetpack
Okay.
also combined with the rockets though, that is really strong. Like rocketing somebody with a jet, like when you have a jetpack, you can just boom and then blow them up immediately. Is like, ooh, that's a little strong. So maybe make it so you can't fire a rocket off the jetpack. You already
Right.
can't ADS, so like, but like that blind fire rocket fly up that's devastating.
Right. Yeah, but all I was really getting at, I think in a limited time, but we'll see if they strip it out. We could be wrong. Of course, leave the comments if we're wrong. What they did was they did the patch update, then they came back and they talked about some of these quality of life improvements. And within there, they were kind of talking about some of this limited time stuff. So that was, I read between the lines on it. It sounds like, you know, maybe the guided missile wasn't intended to be a limited time, but I think like that, we may not be seeing jetpacks just permanently.
Yeah.
You know, I think they wanted to test it out, pull it out, and then tweak it a little, bring it back when the time's right. So if that's what it is, I think it's fine. It's only 1 week, maybe. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, I don't think it's been game breaking. So, all right. Let's move on to our next topic. This is a big one, actually, that I wanted to get into. There's been a ton of quality life improvements that Epic kind of peeled back the curtain a little bit, and basically they have the state of development update. So I just want to read you guys through it, and then we're going to talk about it with the crew here. So what Epic has said is we're continuing to improve the core gameplay experience and have a number of features in progress. First, challenge progress notifications. Starting in 4.3 update, there will be in-match pop-ups. There will be in-match pop-ups to highlight your challenge progress. So that's interesting. You know, you don't have to go to the front menu. They continued saying, track what you've completed and plan out your strategy for the remainder of the match or for your next one. Then, this one's really interesting, in-world markers. Marking positions on the map is a great way to communicate with your squad, but often the marker on the compass isn't enough to get you to your location. We're investigating ways to display an in-world marker to allow for easier navigation around the island. Next up, the Victory Royale screen when you get that win. What they said about it was, getting a Victory Royale should be a memorable experience, and that victory screen should support that. We want to freshen up the celebration and make it a bit more rewarding. Next up, a high-resolution minimap. What they said about this, the ability to zoom in on the map was added in a recent update, but the resolution of the image isn't quite as good as we want it to be. Our goal is to capture the world with as many details as possible to make it easier when you figure out where you're dropping. Then they talked about better footsteps and vertical audio, saying our 4.2 update had some footstep audio improvements where we added slightly more variation to above and below sounds. We recognize it's still difficult to identify enemy position in high-density locations such as tilted towers, and we'll continue to iterate on this. I guess Tilted is staying around for a while. Spectator UI improvements was another one. They said the Spectator UI is missing a lot of information that's on the player HUD. So examples of things they want to add include item inventory, ammo, crosshairs, building edits, compass and markers. And the last thing they touched on was cosmetics. They just said all outfits and cosmetics have value. We want to add ways for you to gain additional goodies through collection over time. This is a work in progress, and it's a little further out. So yeah, it was just a huge update, and I wanted to make sure we got through that. You know, there's a lot to discuss in there, but I'm curious, you know, with you guys, did anything in those updates stick out to you? What I like about it above all is that, you know, they're talking about this openly with the community, and that's the right thing to do. Is every time I spectate, you know, it's like, why can't I see how many materials you have, you know? But did anything stick out to you guys?
The thing that stuck out to me is the challenge progress notifications. I think it's huge that they're adding that finally, because you have these challenges. For example, this week you got to search 7 ammo boxes in a single match. So you're running around there because some people just drop in to only complete these challenges. Yeah, and you find yourself running around and you lose track.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, and if something pops up like, oh, that's your 7th one, that would be awesome.
I have that happen all the time. Like, you're so antsy to get into the next match, and then you're like, oh, wait, like, what are my challenges? Yeah. And you're like, I don't remember where I'm at with that. And you're like, let's just go to retail. And, like, that's a great spot where if it's in-game, right, I think you say, no, let's go to Haunted. And everybody groans, and you go, and you get your chest, right?
Yeah, I'm super excited for that one.
Sean, did anything in the state of development period or the quality of life stick out to you?
Yeah, for sure. The better footsteps and vertical audio, huge for me. One of my biggest complaints when I play Fortnite is like I don't know what's happening around me. Like, I hear stuff and I'm like, I know that I hear things. I know that there's somebody here, but I can't figure out where if I'm above them or below them or like. Yeah. And as someone who plays a lot of other battle royale games, sound is like huge, especially in solos when I'm like, I crank the sound all the way up. I'm like, I hear footsteps. I just have no idea where they are. They could be anywhere. Yeah. So it's nice to hear them addressing that and that they're continuing to, because I want that to be perfect, obviously. That's like a big part of the game that they could easily, well, not easily, but if they implement they could focus it and make it better than it should be.
Clearly recognize it. You know, you don't hear developers zoning in so much on audio. I've really appreciated, actually. They've done a lot with audio touches that, you know, the grain of wood sounds different than the clash of metal and so on. And like, building sounds different, and there's a lot of little audio cues. So yeah, play it with the audio cranked, and you don't think the sound's bad or anything.
No, I don't think it's bad.
You just need more out.
I just want more of it. Yeah, exactly. I want, like, I should know if someone's above me or below me just by the sound they're making, like in my headset. Personally, I think so. So I love that they're focusing on that, and I think that that's like a great step for the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and make sure also to check out in this, it's a really big state of development update that they did. They even talked about like console updates with Builder Pro and using the controller. I don't know, Sean, did you get to read much through that?
Yeah, I did. So it's pretty much just like small quality of life improvements with turbo building, and it feels a little clunky sometimes.
Yeah, like auto aim in the center of where you're building to keep things a little cleaner so your target's not off.
And it's also like special key bindings, which is great because then it's like I can map wall or stairs like to whatever I want it to be. Which is like huge, especially if you have an elite controller, because then you can use the bumpers on the back. I think it's great. Like that control set is like a lifesaver, like literally.
Yeah, I mean, think of life before Builder Pro, and so,
it's horrible.
Yeah.
There was no comparison at all between PC and console at all. Because if like I was always like, I'm not gonna go play with you on PC. I'm gonna get mauled. Like, people are gonna build all over me. I won't be able to do anything.
You'll be fine.
But now, I mean, they're still gonna mess me up. But you know, I'll be able to build a staircase faster now.
Exactly. No, the building for sure. Like fast builders on PC, it's insane to watch some of the really fast builders. But props, to Epic. They recognize there's a big, strong console community, and they're working on making it as competitive as possible. It's not like it's an afterthought. It's just as important as these other platforms.
And that's really great to hear.
Yeah, they had a big mobile update too. So check out all that news. We have a lot of news stories and updates on IGN, but Epic's news site is great. Yeah, there's mobile updates. I forgot about that. Don't alienate the player.
I'm not. As a console player, I'm used to getting alienated.
Epic is awesome.
Drake plays on PS4. You got to keep it running well.
I thought you were going to say Drake plays on his phone.
Oh, no.
I was like, I don't know
maybe.
That. All right, so the next big topic that we want to get into are these limited time modes that we've been seeing this week. We got Solid Gold, but coming up, they're talking about this mode called Close Encounter. In fact, by the time you're watching this, we're recording a day before, but hopefully we got some B-roll of Steven playing. And then they got this mode Playground coming up that I want to talk about. But let's go ahead and start with the Close Encounter mode. Right now, what we know is it's just shotguns and jetpacks.
Yeah.
First reactions, Steven.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably footage of you playing it right now, just wrecking people with. What would be your shotgun of choice with a jetpack, you think?
With a jetpack, probably the tactical.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like the heavy power shot,
The heavy one?
shotgun.
I like the tactical because the fire rate is so fast. It feels lighter than the heavy one. I don't know. The tactical is probably my favorite shotgun out of the three.
But this mode sounds like, I guess it's like, I don't know if it's solos or squads yet, but it does sound pretty crazy. Everybody has a jetpack and shotguns. I think it sounds like a ton of fun to hop into for a little bit, and then you're going to want to go back to solos. But like, Sean, what's your reaction?
I'm excited. I'm excited to practice shotgunning people.
Yeah.
I'm not the best at that, so I'm excited to do that. I'm more of a sniper.
You make a really good point, and it's something I really like about these modes. It's what I wanted to talk about with the Playground mode in just a second. These are great modes. Like Solid Gold is a great way to hop in and use some of these high-end guns. Practice, rate of fire, how you aim, especially with like a gold bolt or whatever, like getting your shots down, looking at damage, all the above. It's just a great way to practice. So I like them for that. And yeah, I think even though you might have a jetpack on, you can still just run around with a shotgun. You don't have to use the jetpack. So.
I mean, it's still shotgunning people from height.
Yeah.
Which is like being able to flick down, and I think that's going to help me in the long run because I get built over all the time and just get shotgunned in the head, and I'm like, I should probably invest in getting better at this.
Yeah. But I love the sound of the mode. In fact, the most fun that I've had just was a few days ago. I just got like a couple really good, it was heavy shotgun and the hop rocks. Man, I was like, I was just floating around anti-gravity and just gunning people down from really far away, actually. It felt unfair. I mean, they had hop rocks too, so I guess it wasn't, but it felt like, God, man, it was fun. So let's talk about this other mode that actually has me a little excited. I'm going to read off really fast what they say about it. It is called Playground. It's a limited time mode that is coming. They say, battle and build to your heart's content with an extended period of time to roam around the map, as well as increased resource generation. All treasure chests and ammo crates will be spawned. Try dropping in at different spots and scope out the loot. Friendly fire is on, so you can scrimmage with your squad up to 4 friends per match. But fear not, you'll respawn immediately. Oh, and there will be loads of llamas. They spelled loads with 2 L's, like llamas. Great.
Clever.
Very clever. Whoever's writing that, copy, props. Tag me on Twitter. I want to give you credit. But anyway, what do you guys think of a mode like that? My general excitement is I've been waiting to practice my building, and like Sean's talking about people who have been playing tons, building above them. Let's start with you, Sean, actually. What do you think of a mode that's just like play around, tons of resources?
Great. God,
Yeah.
I really need as much help with building
For
as I
practice?
can.
Is
Yeah,
it
because it
another
really is
practice
that.
mode for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always like, when I know that I'm gonna die, like everyone, like I don't ever really die to the zone, but like 2 times last night, I had to like just got and it got into fights that I shouldn't have been in, and ended up in the zone. I was like, man, I got like 700 materials. I'm just gonna try to build and like get fluid with the controls, because it's like learning a language almost. Like building on especially on controller is like learning a different language. It's like what to put where and when, and like how to get above people. And I think that I use that. I try to build as much as I can, because that's what Steven always tells me. It's like, you don't build enough, you don't build enough. So I think it's a great opportunity to just like build and try to get better at that. Because the aiming and shooting, I don't really struggle with. It's just I get John Wick's build over me. That's all I ever see.
Of course. Those lanky legs, they have a height advantage.
Terrifying. I have nightmares about Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, they have a real height advantage. You just don't realize it now. They build higher because of it. I think the mode sounds fun too, though. But Steven, what's your reaction?
This mode is awesome.
You're excited. Wow.
I am so excited for the community, because this mode is basically a practice mode. The number one thing that frustrates the hell out of players in Battle Royale games is you launch in, you wait like 30 seconds to 2 minutes. You launch in, you're trying to learn the game, and then you just die. And you have to repeat that whole waiting process again, and you can't learn or practice anything. And in Fortnite, right before the game launches, you're on that starting island, and there's guns around and stuff like that, and you can build, but you have like 15 seconds to do it.
Maybe. Yeah, it's not like they spawn you with 99. They should spawn you there with 999 material of everything.
Yeah, and this is basically what this mode is. You can practice building. You can, for players that are new to the map, you can just walk around the map and learn the map.
Yeah.
You can't practice building in the game because you have to harvest it. Then you have to find a safe spot. By the time you do that, the storm is already closing in. The good players are alive. And it's very frustrating to learn a Battle Royale game unless there's a practice mode like this. So I'm super excited.
Yep. Yeah, that was my first reaction, was just being able to load in and have a bunch of resources. Every time I get a llama in the game, I'm excited for this reason. I'm like, I'm going to build. I'm not even going to worry about it. It's like a fever has been lifted from you when you get all those materials. And so, honestly, good players, you need to have whatever, 300 to 600 materials at all times.
Also, this makes getting footage so much easier.
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
thinking about his job here. His job
it's also
tough.
great. It's also great for shooting. Every game's shooting mechanics are different, and like this is much different than PUBG, which is much different than Radical Heights, and like all their shooting mechanics are so different. I'm always like, man, I wish there was a way that I could jump in and just warm up to these shooting mechanics without having to fight 10 people immediately and then wait. Like, I'm not warm until like my 3rd or 4th game.
Yeah. One thing I liked to do when I was like trying to improve was like hop into Wailing Woods, and then I would just try to build some 1x1s really fast just to practice. So yeah, I'm excited to practice, but I actually think it's going to be a lot of fun. Big forts, people who are editing really well and building well are probably still going to win these games, because you're still going to get a storm most likely, right? And it's, who knows, probably start smaller. We don't know all the details yet, but I think it could be a lot of fun. And frankly, has there been any mode yet that you guys can remember where you're like, that was a trash mode? Like there was Blitz, there's 50v50. I know at first 50v50 was a little rough, but
yeah, the first time 50v50 came around, the community didn't really like it. But no, they do such a good job of adapting and making it fun.
Yeah, I agree. All these modes are pretty cool.
It's your choice, It's not like they take away the other modes. We're not at the point we are in the Destiny community where it's like there's modes we love that only cycle in occasionally.
Yeah.
This is different where it's like, yeah, I would like to have it back, but frankly, with my teams, we play a little bit of limited to warm up or whatever, and it's a lot of fun. But then you go back and you play competitively or more seriously, and they work really well hand in hand. So
yeah.
Okay, let's move on to our next topic. Big numbers, man. $100 million from Epic going to be put towards a competitive season from 2018 to 2019, as well as at E3. They're going to have a really big $3 million tournament that is separate from that prize pool. We know, Marshmallow, Ninja, some others are there. We'll talk about both of these topics. Let's start with competitive Fortnite, which is really starting to bubble up. There's no official way to do it yet, but they are planning something. And all they did was just like posted it, $100 million. And they say through the 2018 to 2019 season. I assume that means until early next year. Steven, you were super excited, I know, in the office when you heard this. What's your reaction?
Yeah, this is huge news. For comparison's sake, Dota has the largest prize pool right now, and I believe it's like 26 million.
Yeah.
And they're trying to push to 30 million. This is 100 million. And that's the prize pool. That's not including funding and all that stuff. So, and this is spread out over 1 year. So they're going to have a ton of events. Your favorite personalities and streamers are going to be playing in it. It's going to be a very big community event.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. This is huge news.
Yep. Before we get into the details, Sean, like general first reactions to the idea of $100 million?
I love competitive video games more than almost anything. Like I watch competitive CS:GO. I watch as much competitive video games as I can. And to hear this was like unbelievable to me. Yeah. I was so excited. And I watched the Fortnite tournament they did recently, where it was like the 2 teams joined together and whoever got more kills won.
Yes.
And I was like, that's a weird way to do it, but it's because they kind of have to do it that way right now. But it was still like super cool to see like Shroud and Summit and like Ninja in the same game, and I was like, yeah, like this is awesome, and this is what people are tuning in and are excited to see. They want to see this, so I'm pumped. I couldn't be happier. Yeah,
well, you got a little taste of this at the esports arena as well in Vegas recently with Ninja and crew there, and the game needs some tuning and other things to make it work, but it does work when it goes to end game. I think it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah,
you feel the thrill that you do when you're in the driver's seat, and you're like, oh god, there's so much pressure to get that win, and watching folks pull that out and what happens is great. But a couple things they said about it that I think is interesting. Yeah, they said. The kind of pull quotes that I had was, they're doing this in a big way, but they'll approach it differently. They want it to be inclusive, and the joy of watching and playing, but the watching part is a big focus for them. So I think we don't know exactly what it is yet. I get the sense that you were maybe alluding to it, Steven. There might be a lot of tournaments. Maybe there's a way that this expands, versus there's only, like in Dota, there's not like a ton. There's some really big prize pools. But we don't know yet. I just get the sense that they don't want it to be too sweaty entirely, and maybe that's call it where that other $70 million goes. 30 million say is sweaty, and it's the big tournaments, but then maybe they sort of spread out like globally, like ways to have tournaments, and maybe they're doing something with the game itself to set up tournaments in game, and I don't really know. I thought it was really interesting that like $100 million though.
A lot of money. I hope they do something for consoles. Like, I'd love to see a console tournament.
Oh, I mean, I assume, absolutely.
Like, a specific console tournament. Because, like, I think you should do a celebrity tournament, I think. Yeah. I mean, there's so many different things that would be cool. And, of course, the celebrity tournament, money go to
that was my first thought.
But, like, of course, like, Drake doesn't need to win any money. But, like, I think...
Wouldn't hurt.
I think it would be good, though, for the community. Like, people clearly like to watch people play Fortnite. I mean, I do. Yeah. I like to watch people that are way better than me play Fortnite.
When there's money on the line, people take things a lot more seriously. So I'm definitely excited about that. The other big topic that they kind of had was we're leading into E3. Kicks off the weekend of June 9th with some press conferences, and then we're leading into about the 10th of it. But I think it's around June 12th-ish or 13th, middle of the week, that we're going to be hopefully seeing this E3 2018 event that they're having, which is 50 pros and 50 celebs pairing up. There's $3 million in prize money, and that, again, is not part of this $100 million. And folks like Myth, Minja, I like that. If they team up, Minja
Fusion.
Or Nith.
Ninja.
I know he's a Dragon Ball fan.
Narshnello with Ninja and Marshmallow. Anyway, Marshmallow, Paul George. They're announcing people kind of week by week, so there's more to come. Sean was wondering, is Shroud going to be in it?
That's my big question. That's who I want to see. That's my boy. I watch his stream all the time. Yeah. So like,
I'm more interested to see the celebrities, because you can kind of tell who the top 50 players. But the celebrities, I'm interested in seeing
who's going to be
out there.
Yeah. No, they had some other interesting ones on there already, like Joel McHale. Like, I didn't expect to see his name on the list, but I think he's funny, and I have no idea if he's played in Fortnite, but I'll watch him.
I think it's
safe
to say Drake is going to be one of them.
Oh yeah,
that would be crazy.
They'll probably save him. I'm sure.
I hope him and Logic.
I'm surprised Drake and Ninja aren't a duo.
Yeah, I'm surprised that blew me away.
Actually, you make a good point. So maybe Drake's now
maybe
not confirmed,
busy.
and so
what's his tour schedule look like?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I know that like Logic likes playing the game, and I know he's on tour right now, so I don't know. I think it would be cool.
So many players. Like, this is a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I've never seen a game like this before.
My dad texts me like, "What's Fortnite?" I just heard about it the other day. Like, apparently Drake is playing it. I was like, yeah, Dad, Drake's playing
It's
Fortnite.
so funny that that's people's entry point. I'm like, how have you not heard of Fortnite, like, at this point?
Yeah.
Just everybody's talking about it. Yeah, who, like, pick a random person maybe from the celebrity ethos that you'd love to just see play. You know, Steven, you got
Well,
something?
we have that video of the guy who plays Thanos reacting to Thanos in Fortnite.
Oh, yeah, Josh Brolin.
Yeah, and it's hilarious.
You'd love to, yeah, let's see, get Josh Brolin in there, man. Get him in as Thanos.
Let him spawn in as Thanos.
Sean, anyone that sticks out?
Donald Glover.
Oh,
Let's get
yeah.
Childish Gambino in there.
Oh, man.
That would be awesome.
That
you
would
know?
be a good one.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'd have. It's funny asking the question. I didn't really have anyone good pick. But those are two good answers. Leave in the comments who would you guys and gals like to see play in the celeb tournament. I'm sure they're already locked in, but who knows? Maybe you'll put someone down that will generate some interest.
That'd be cool.
A couple other details on E3 2018. There's 3,000 tickets. It was interesting the way they said that they were distributing the tickets was to their emails that will come to people in the LA area, I presume, based on your Fortnite Epic, game registration. That's how it was written. I'm sure there's some ways to get some of those tickets otherwise, but you'll be able to watch it live. And then also, if you're going to E3, they're going to have a booth. They're doing, a lot of stuff there that I think we still are going to hear about. They're also having the Party Royale. I'm excited about that to find out more what that is. And I know that Steven and I are definitely going to be attending. So we're gonna, I don't have the invite yet, but we're attending.
I like they do such a, Epic's so good at this. They're so good at like building hype. And like even at GDC, which is not a consumer facing show at all, there was a llama that you could ride and they had like Triple Rec. They had like Triple Rec playing Fortnite in the background. I was like, this is like, it's cool. It's like they're I loved it. I can't wait to see.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what they do. I think it will be a really good fan community event all around. Clearly, they have some money to throw at it. In fact, there was a report from, is it Super Data, who I forget what their source of data is, but it was around $300 million in just digital console sales stuff, just console stuff.
296 million.
296, exactly. Just in April alone was a report. So if you think about it, like, that's why when I heard 100 million, I was like, well, yeah.
That's nothing to them.
It's fine. And they are, there's a lot of cost behind the scenes, like you say. I don't know how much it costs to run that stuff, but it is awesome to see that they are putting it, like, that's a huge bomb to drop. $100 million, yeah, we're going to give it back. That's awesome. They're not sitting on that egg.
Sometimes sometimes I like to put myself in someone who works at Epic's shoes. Like, man, we had this save the world mode. Let's just throw Battle Royale in there. Oh, we just made $296 million last month.
Yeah, it is crazy to see. That's like the greatest turnaround in history.
Yeah,
like in
it's
my opinion, it's
crazy.
like it's the biggest game in the entire world.
No one in Epic could have seen this coming.
No, I don't think you can. I don't think
games
you can
like
ever
this you
predict that.
don't. I mean,
Yeah.
PUBG didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
Even whatever, the Wii as a console, like they wanted it to be what they call blue ocean, right? A whole new territory that they get into. I don't think they really knew that, and man, that thing just was like Wii Fitness was just like crazy.
Fit. I worked at GameStop when people were trying to get
Wii
that.
Fit.
I had a grandma curse me out over Wii Fit.
Right?
But like
That's what I'm talking about. You cannot see that
No,
coming.
but like if you look at like Twitch's followers, because like there's a great video that like that charts the followers of people on Twitch, and then like when Fortnite started to get big, there is literally a vertical line up of Ninja.
It's crazy.
And it's like you don't see that coming, and that's what Fortnite. That's the power of Fortnite. People are like, "Hey, this game's pretty cool, and it's free, and it works on console." Like, not every battle royale game works perfectly on console.
Yeah.
And this one does. And I give a lot of props to Epic. When there's a problem, Epic addresses it and fixes it.
Yeah, they've been
and their
great.
speed is like, I think it's really pushed PUBG and
Yeah.
other people to be like, all right, we don't own this. We got to get moving because these other guys, they're hungry and they're like,
Yeah.
that's what Fortnite did.
Well, yeah, that's how they got that backpack out of the game so fast. Just
Yeah.
pour it out of there because they've advanced their tools and how fast they can patch stuff. In fact, they're talking about, that's a continued development of the platform. They've also got Call of Duty, Blackout at their heels. We talked about that on last week's show. Go back, watch that discussion with James Duggan if you're interested in it. But that's basically going to be it for this week's show. I did figure out that Betty White is who I want to see in the
Yes.
White.
I'm
Betty
in.
White, or maybe Beyonce. Those two are the ones that I
Betty White
I'll
is
take
the
on.
better, in my opinion. I want to see her
Yeah, I think
trash talking Drake.
right. How good would that be? So anyway, let us know in the comments who you want your dudes to be. If you like the show, please support it in the comments. Let your friends know, share it, and get it out there. And a way you can really support it is head over to Royale Rundown on YouTube. Like it, subscribe there, and set your little notification bell. you know, when the episode goes live. And Steven creates just a ton of work on there. Weekly challenges. Actually, name a couple videos, Steven, that you put out this week.
Weekly challenges, the Eye of the Storm leak, the Jetpack news rundown. Basically, if anything happens in Fortnite, we will cover it on the YouTube channel.
Exactly.
And I wanted to get this in. There's a lot of comments in the section saying, why should I subscribe to this channel when IGN has the same video? We push those videos onto Royale Rundown much, much earlier than the IGN YouTube channel, sometimes hours before. So if you want it as soon as it's done, subscribe to the Royale Rundown channel.
Yes. And he also streams on their live sometime, which is exclusive. And quite honestly, the long play is, as that channel grows, you know, we don't want to spam. You'll see it in the IGN comments. There's so much Fortnite content. So that's what channels are for, and places to get a notification just for one thing. So we are trying to grow that. It would be a huge help. I would love to do giveaways someday there as well. As something
giveaways
that I'm working on. We'll make that happen eventually.
I get an Instagram message every day about getting free V-Bucks. Like,
right?
Hey, you want some free V-Bucks?
I know that's what you really want. If I'm like, all right, go get your free V-Bucks at this link, we'd grow that channel, like double it overnight. But anyway, that is it for this week's show. Thank you all for the support. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Sean. We will be back very soon, and E3's coming up, so mark your calendars. Thanks, everyone.